Hi, I'm Danny with AbolishAbortionCalifornia.com. I'm a volunteer coordinator. And right now I just wanted to take a minute to go over the amendment that we're putting forward so you can hear the language and understand what we're saying and why we're saying it, and see that we are not actually being far-reaching. We're not actually doing something that is attacking anybody. We are actually working to bring a self-evident truth to the light of day. The murder statute in California already protects the fetus, the preborn human being. Unless, of course, that a mom decides they want to kill their own child, or if a doctor decides they can kill a child, then those people will not be criminalized for killing a preborn child. Only people who kill a preborn child without permission are charged with murder in our state. That is an inconsistent law. So we are trying to bring the truth to the light of day, that this preborn human being that we protect sometimes is worthy and deserves protection all of the time. And it's our duty to protect that preborn human being. Nobody has the right to kill another human being, period. So here is the language of our petition. I'm going to go ahead and just read it. We are adding to our state constitution section 33A, and the first thing we're going to do is define what an abortion is. Our amendment is intended to abolish abortion, to do away with it. We're not attacking anybody. We're saying you may not perform this procedure. Abortion means the use or prescription of any instrument, medicine, drug, or any other substance or device to intentionally kill an unborn human being. So we've defined abortion as using pretty much anything to kill an unborn human being. Our second section says, defines the unborn human. An unborn human means an individual organism of the species Homo sapiens from fertilization, whether fertilization occurs inside or outside of a human, until live birth. So what we're saying there is that when the egg and sperm come together, we have a new human being, and that's the same thing that every medical textbook or science textbook teaches about when human life starts. Human life, there's no doubt, no argument that human life begins at conception, and that's simply what we're stating in our amendment. The next part, B, says no person shall perform, procure, or an attempt to perform an abortion. So we're saying we know what an abortion is, we know what a human being is, and no person can do an abortion. Next section, C, whoever performs or procures an abortion is guilty of first-degree murder and shall be punished in accordance with the penalties for that crime under state law. So, and the last section, D, abortion or any other taking of innocent human life is not protected by a right to privacy under Article 1, Section 1 of this Constitution. So this last part is saying whoever performs an abortion is guilty of first-degree murder. And a lot of people are kind of shocked by that, saying, well, murder, is it murder? Or first-degree murder, that sounds harsh. Well, we have to understand that what we're doing with a law is when we have a law, we are basically a law that says you can't do something. We're basically putting a fence of protection around something. In this case, we are putting a fence of protection around human life. This fence really already exists for humans. Me and you are both protected by the law of first-degree murder. It's death penalty or 25 years to life or other penalties for that. It's a very high law because we have very high regard for human life. And so if we're going to say that the unborn are human beings, which they are, that's self-evident, then we need to say that we're going to protect them equally like all other human beings. So if you want to be protected by the first-degree murder, then we have to give that same protection to the preborn human beings. The next section says that abortion or the taking of life is not protected by the right to privacy. So in actuality, our laws as they are now protect the preborn human being already. And if you kill, if I were to go and kill a pregnant woman, intentionally, I would be charged with 2 counts of murder, one for her and one for her unborn human being. So why is abortion legal? Well, abortion is legal because the government has said we will not look at the fetus, at the human being that's unborn. We're not going to look at them when the mother chooses to murder that child, or when a doctor chooses to murder that child. Then we're not going to look into that case. And so they've said that's private. The government is willfully closing their eyes to the slaughter of tiny human beings because their mother decides she wants to kill them. Because we're saying that this is a right that nobody else has. Nobody else can just kill this preborn human being, but the mother can choose to kill the preborn human being. So that in and of itself is an inconsistency in our law. That is a lie. And what we are doing really is not making new laws. We're clarifying the laws that we have and making sure that the loophole that people have tried to exploit at the cost of millions and millions of preborn human beings is closed. They can no longer do that. So it's very important that to understand that we are not we're not really trying to create new laws. We're really trying to recognize the truth about the laws that already exist. So the next thing I want to do is quickly go over the circulating title that the Attorney General put on our petition. So this will be on every petition. Basically takes what we're saying and kind of translate that into layman's terms so you understand how that's going to affect the world you live in. All right, so if what we're saying becomes law, this is how the Attorney General says it's going to affect daily life. And I really believe that I love the wording he put in here, and I think he really makes our case for us. We might have had to argue all of these things with people, but the Attorney General has made it so we don't have to argue with them because he's stating that these things do indeed kill unborn human beings as we've defined them. So here is what he says, and I'm just reading the top portion because it kind of repeats itself. This amendment is going to criminalize abortion as first-degree murder and expands the definition of abortion to include certain forms of birth control, some medical research, and many in vitro fertilization procedures. All right, and it's a constitutional amendment. So the Attorney General is admitting that under the definition, the scientific definition of preborn human that we're using, that these things, all birth control, some forms of birth control, IVF, and medical research right now are killing human beings from the time they're conceived. So, and those things would all be illegal in his law. So I think that it's a great statement from him to say to agree with that. I don't have to go and argue with people to say that in vitro fertilization is indeed killing human beings because the Attorney General has already said that. The last section that they put in here, there's a section in between, and it kind of repeats the same thing. The next part, it says the what's it called? The financial analysis. What's it going to cost Californians? And so what the Attorney General said is this: assuming that the provisions of the U.S. Constitution would prevent the initiative from taking effect, voter approval of this measure would have no impact on state and local finances. So he's assuming that when the people of California say, no, we don't want abortion in our state anymore, that the Supreme Court is going to say, I'm sorry, you have to allow abortion. That he and the rest of the government is going to say, oh, I guess we have to listen to the Supreme Court. And they're saying, well, there's going to be no financial impact because that's what's going to happen. What he's revealing there is that he's really an agent of the federal government, not an agent working for the people. And that is something that we all need to see, that he's dependent upon the federal government. We as Californians, we are a sovereign state. And what we're talking about doing is amending our sovereign constitution to say we will no longer tolerate this. And what he should be doing is he should be saying, well, we're going to have to go to battle. If the people of California choose to abolish abortion, we're going to have to go to battle against the Supreme Court. So he should be acknowledging that that's what his job is going to be to do, to represent the people, to represent our voice once we've spoken. He also should have mentioned that when abortion becomes illegal, we pay a lot of tax dollars for abortions. We pay for all minors' abortions. When they get abortions without their parents' knowledge, we pay for those abortions. We pay for inmates' abortions. California state pays for a lot of abortions throughout. So that would be a fiscal impact of that would lessen the amount we have to spend for abortion as Californians. I really don't think he did his due diligence on the financial part because he's, again, recognizing himself as an agent of the state, as a tool of the federal government, rather than the representative of we the people. So we're really excited to be collecting these signatures. I hope that you go encouraged that we are standing for justice. And when people say you're doing ridiculous things, that's not true. We're not doing ridiculous things. We're saying these are the simple realities in life. They're self-evident. Anybody can look at the facts and know that what we're saying is right. The wrong thing, the alarming thing, is how many things in our society that we are doing that are so wrong. How could we be allowing the murder of pre-born human beings in our state for so long and in our nation for so long? How could we have done that for so long without standing up to stop it? So we're standing up to stop it now. I pray that you join us, and I pray that you work to help us abolish abortion in our state, and we pray that that will lead to abolishing abortion in our nation. Thanks, and have a great day. God bless you.